Maria Andriasova and Guillermo Esparza's academic lectures titled Themes in Guillermo Esparza's Art and Maria Andriasova's Composing Techniques in affiliation with Smithsonian Institution, Washington, D.C., and New York Public Library. Maria Andriasova and Guillermo Esparza announce academic lectures titled Themes in Guillermo Esparza's Art and Maria Andriasova's Composing Techniques in affiliation with Smithsonian Institution, Washington, D.C., and New York Public Library. The lecture series take place at the institutions featuring Guillermo Esparza's permanent art installations accompanied by Maria Andriasova's original music compositions. Lecture 101. On the historical relevance of Guillermo Esparza's mural icon of Christ the Pantokrator at the Cathedral of the Incarnation, Episcopal Diocese of Long Island, Garden City, Long Island, New York. The connections and accomplishments across music, visual art, and prestigious institutions establish Guillermo Esparza as a prominent figure within not only the elite international and New York-based cultural circles, but general public of millions of viewers on his art, which is installed in cathedrals, churches, institutions, public art installations, private and public collections, and international organizations dedicated to humanity and peace. Guillermo Esparza's work connects with modern audiences through a fusion of classical traditions, contemporary presentation, and multidisciplinary collaborations. Esparza balances a deep respect for historical and spiritual art with innovative use of modern technology and cross-medium projects to create engaging and accessible experiences. Spiritual art in a contemporary context. Guillermo Esparza's art maintains the formal beauty of classical ecclesiastical art while appealing to modern sensibilities and spiritual interests. Interfaith appeal. Recognized as the Vatican artist by His Holiness Pope John Paul II in 1995, Esparza receives commissions from various Christian denominations. This ecumenical approach expands his audience beyond a single faith and speaks to a modern, pluralistic society. Blurring boundaries. Esparza's art reinterprets traditional themes for contemporary installations, including his work for the Smithsonian Institution NASA. He blends classical symbolism with modern contexts. The mural icon of Christ the Pantokrator by Guillermo Esparza. The Cathedral of the Incarnation. Episcopal Diocese of Long Island. Garden City, Long Island, New York. Historical relevance today. Guillermo Esparza's mural icon of the Pantokrator is installed at the Cathedral of the Incarnation in Garden City, Long Island, New York. Work details. Dimensions. 15 feet by 20 feet. Materials. Oil and 24-karat gold on Belgian linen. Location. It is a permanent installation and hangs 60 feet above the nave of the cathedral. Gift. The mural was a gift from the Very Reverend Robert V. Wilshire, who served as Dean of the Cathedral for 20 years. Background. Funding. 2 bishops of the Long Island Episcopal Diocese, the Right Reverend James Cordone and the Right Reverend Horace G. Walker, Jr., were instrumental in funding the project. Marriage. Esparza and his wife, the Juilliard School concert pianist Maria Andriasova, the daughter of the iconic Russian composer Iosif Andriasov, Andriasian, and Professor Marta Leonidovna Kudryasheva Andriasova of Moscow State Tchaikovsky Conservatory, were married beneath this mural in October 2024. New York Times coverage. The New York Times article announced the installation of Esparza's mural icon at the cathedral in 2001. TV special. The scale mural drawing of the mural in Conti on archival mylar by the artist himself was featured in a 2013 CBS special, New York Christmas to Remember, during which Regis Philbin read from the Bible while standing under Guillermo Esparza's artwork. Blessing by His All Holiness Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I. His All Holiness Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I blessed Guillermo Esparza's mural icon during his historic visit to the United States, which was arranged by Father Alexander Karloutzos, a longtime friend of Esparza, and by New Jersey businessman Michael Parlamus, Archon of Greek Orthodox Church in the United States. Traditional techniques adapted to a mural. Based on documentation of traditional iconography and Esparza's described materials, his mural at the Cathedral of the Incarnation was created using the ancient Byzantine technique adapted to his specific medium of oil and gold on Belgian linen. Esparza's process echoes the sacred tradition of writing an icon, but on a monumental scale for his mural. Materials: Belgian linen. Traditional icons are painted on wood panels. Esparza's use of Belgian linen, a fine and durable canvas, enabled him to write the icon on a flexible, massive surface appropriate for a mural. 24-karat gold leaf. The gold background in icons symbolizes the uncreated light of God and places the religious figures outside of earthly time. Esparza applied 24-karat gold, with traditional oil gilding method, to achieve the distinctive radiant halo and background. Oil paints. While classic icons often use egg tempera, which Esparza uses in his other works, in this particular work, Esparza used oil paints for his mural. He ground all pigments by hand in his art studio. This allowed him to maintain the luminous effect of light radiating from within the painting, which is a hallmark of iconography. Methodology: working with light and color. The iconographic process involves building up layers of paint, from dark to light, to create a sense of inner light radiating from the figures. Esparza's oil painting technique, applied in layers, achieves this distinctive luminosity and depth. Symbolism and composition. The mural is identified as an icon of Pantokrator, which has a standard composition in Byzantine tradition. Esparza, as an iconographer, follows the established compositional rules. Emphasis on spiritual presence. Rather than focusing on realism and shadows to create three-dimensional forms, Byzantine iconographers use distinct, symbolic features in a flat perspective to project an intense, otherworldly presence. Esparza's execution of the mural follows this tradition, with elegant lines and details. Critical acclaim and reception by the public and religious community. In addition to the New York Times with the historical photographs of the artist and his mural by New York Times and Reuters photojournalist Shannon Stapleton in an article by the New York Times journalist Terry Considine Williams titled A Tribute to Faith about Guillermo Esparza and his mural in 2001, and the record articles in New Jersey, critical review of Guillermo Esparza's mural icon of the Pantokrator and the reception for the work also come from the religious community and those involved with the Cathedral of the Incarnation, highlighting its spiritual and commemorative significance. Positive reception highlights. A major work. In a press release distributed by PR Web covering the CBS TV special featuring the mural, refers to it as a major work by Guillermo Esparza in New York area. Celebrated by Cathedral figures. The mural was championed by high-ranking figures in the Long Island Episcopal Diocese, including Dean Robert V. Wilshire, who funded the gift, and Bishops James Cordone and Horace G. Walker Jr. This cements a strong endorsement from the religious leaders who commissioned and housed the artwork by Esparza. Part of an acclaimed exhibit. The Pantokrator mural and its theme was later featured as a central part of Esparza's Arcanum Angelorum, Mystery of the Angels, exhibit at the Basilica of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral under Monsignor Donald Sacchino, pastor, which was honored by New York City Mayor Michael R. Bloomberg. The praise for the larger exhibit reflects positively on its core elements, including the mural. Featured on television. Its inclusion in the 2013 CBS special, New York Christmas to Remember, with Regis Philbin, is a public recognition that brought the mural to a wider multi-million television audience in the United States. In line with sacred tradition. Esparza's reputation as a religious contemporary artist and public art sculptor documents that those in the religious community view his work positively for its use of traditional techniques and iconography to create a new work for contemplation and worship for contemporary audience. The primary audience for such works is the worshipping community of millions of parishioners and tourists each year, and its success is measured in spiritual terms. The mural of Esparza has been widely celebrated and validated within its intended religious and institutional context. Core artistic concepts. Guillermo Esparza's artistic concepts and techniques are rooted in the ancient traditions of Eastern Orthodoxy and Byzantine iconography, which he learned to adapt for modern, monumental works. A central concept in his work is the depiction of divine light and the spiritual, which he conveys through specific materials and painstaking methods. The spiritual versus the material. A fundamental concept Esparza explores is the distinction between the spiritual and material worlds. In his murals and panel icons, the flat, frontal, and stylized figures are meant to exist outside of time and physical space, drawing the viewer's focus to a transcendent reality. Light as a symbol of the divine. Esparza believes light is a divine element. He strives to create art that appears to emanate light from within, an effect he achieves through specific techniques inherited from medieval artists. This makes the gold backgrounds and luminous faces in his icons a powerful symbols of God's uncreated light. Ecumenism. Esparza's work is ecumenical, with artworks commissioned by Roman Catholic, Byzantine Catholic, Episcopal, and Greek Orthodox churches. This breadth demonstrates his ability to apply the ancient tradition of Christian iconography across different denominations. Link with the past. As an iconographer, Esparza aims to create a link with the past by preserving ancient techniques and traditions in new works. His mission is to ensure that sacred art remains a living tradition. Techniques and methodology. Writing an icon. Like traditional iconographers, Esparza describes his process not as painting an icon but as writing it, which implies a meditative and contemplating creation process. Layering for luminosity. For his panel icons, Esparza uses the traditional method of building up layers of transparent egg tempera paints over a bright white gesso ground. The light refracts through the layers of color, reflecting off the white ground to produce a glowing effect. In his larger works, such as the Cathedral of the Incarnation mural icon, he adapted this concept using oil paints and 24-karat gold leaf on linen. The use of gold. The application of 24-karat gold leaf is a critical component. Gold leaf is used for the halo and background, representing the divine, timeless space that surrounds the sacred figures. The way the gold captures and reflects light adds to the overall luminous effect. Restoration and research. Esparza's experience in restoring old churches and icons has deeply influenced his own work. He has studied and worked extensively with sacred art, including Byzantine Catholic Bishop Michael Joseph Dudic. His extensive research into scripture and sacred art provides a deep theological basis for his art. Multimedia work. Esparza's practice is not limited to murals and icons. He is also a sculptor, using Vermont marble and other materials to create figures like his Archangel Michael, where he strives for the same super-emanating light that comes from the material itself. Guillermo Esparza's mural in Garden City, Long Island, New York, the icon of Pantokrator, remains relevant today by connecting a modern congregation with an ancient sacred tradition, promoting a sense of timelessness and continuity. It serves as a visual anchor in a rapidly changing world and demonstrates the enduring power of art to foster community, contemplation, and spiritual experience. Connecting the modern with the ancient. A timeless tradition for a modern congregation. In an increasingly secularized world, the mural serves as a powerful symbol of faith's constancy. By using traditional Byzantine techniques, Esparza creates a direct visual and spiritual link to the early Christian church, reminding the congregation that their faith is part of an unbroken, 2,000-year-old tradition. Esparza's wife, concert pianist Maria Andriasova, is an ethnic Armenian, baptized in Armenian Gregorian Christian tradition of Holy Ekmiadzin, Armenia, a land which was first to proclaim Christianity as a state religion in 301 AD. This connection to the older Christian traditions of Armenian people is very important to Esparza as an artist. The Andriasian family was recognized and blessed by His Holiness Catholicos of all Armenians Vazgenai in Holy Ekmiadzin, Armenia. The family members are also recipients of the highest civilian honor from the state of Armenia, the Mufsis Karenesi Medal. Symbolic imagery for contemporary contemplation. The Pantokrator, or ruler of all, is an ancient visual representation of Christ's divinity. For modern viewers, the image offers a focal point for prayer and contemplation, inviting them to reflect on the nature of God, divine authority, and the spiritual dimensions of life. This is particularly relevant in a world where people are constantly bombarded with distractions. Bridging denominational divides. Esparza's work is celebrated across multiple Christian denominations, including Episcopal, Byzantine Catholic, and Greek Orthodox churches. This ecumenical aspect of the mural is highly relevant today, as it stands as a unifying symbol for Christian communities that might otherwise be divided. Fostering community and identity. A unique landmark. Murals and public art help define a community's identity and can become cherished landmarks. In Garden City, Long Island, New York, USA, Esparza's work contributes to the Cathedral of the Incarnation's distinct spiritual and aesthetic identity, distinguishing it as a place of historical reverence and artistic significance. A space for shared experience. The process of commissioning and installing the mural, along with its featuring in a televised special and by the New York Times, created a shared experience for the congregation and wider community. It provides a physical gathering point for collective reflection and reinforces a sense of communal ownership and pride. Artistic continuity. In a culture that often discards the old for the new, Esparza's work validates the importance of traditional art forms and craftsmanship. It demonstrates that ancient techniques like iconography can still be vital and relevant artistic expressions, offering a refreshing counterpoint to much of today's ephemeral contemporary art. Providing spiritual enrichment. A visual theology. In many Christian traditions, icons are described as windows to heaven. Esparza's mural, through its luminous technique and symbolic composition, provides a form of visual theology, helping parishioners and visitors to engage with their faith in a different, more spiritual way than just through sermons or scriptures. Emotional and contemplative engagement. The power of art to evoke emotion and facilitate contemplation is as relevant today as ever. In a world of spiritual and psychological struggle, the mural offers a sanctuary and a source of peace, allowing individuals to pause and connect with the sacred on a deeply personal level. About Guillermo Esparza. Guillermo Esparza is an American artist and public sculptor with collections at the Vatican Museum in Rome, the Fener Museum in Istanbul, Turkey, Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., the U.S. National Archives, cathedrals, churches, universities, monasteries, public and private collections. He was honored for his work by His Holiness Pope John Paul II, His All-Holiness Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew I, Edward Cardinal Egan, Timothy Cardinal Dolan, Archbishop of New York, and many others. Esparza was born in San Antonio, Texas, and grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, California. Guillermo Esparza lives in New York City and Santa Fe, New Mexico, with his wife Maria Andriasova. Copyright Maria Andriasova Esparza. 2025. U.S. Library of Congress. All rights reserved.